DJ LeRoy.
Night Watchman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm well.
Good, good. So you know what, Night Watchman, both you and I, we are foodies on some level. I think me more so than you. That's what I'm going to say. Can I claim that?
I don't know how you would ever make a statement like that. You can't even boil an egg.
Wow, wow. You go to not simply because I have to prepare the stuff, but come on, I know some
Okay.
food. I know some good food, right?
Okay.
You know,
Well, let's just
you're really
let's just.
reluctant in giving me the props. You're reluctant. So
Well,
you know
you
what?
you claimed the crown that I don't think you have any right to claim. But let's agree on this. We love the food in Harlem. We love
Yes,
the
we do.
restaurants in Harlem, and we love the restaurateurs in Harlem. Can we agree on that?
Okay, yes, we can. As a matter of fact, I was reading an interesting article that not one, not two, but four restaurants in Harlem have been actually honored with a James Beard Award.
Oh, okay.
So
And
yeah,
as a
yeah.
foodie, I know what that means.
Yes, I'll let you claim that. Well, you know what, Night Watchman, we are literally in the I guess the throes of New York City Restaurant Week, which of course
Hmm.
is sponsored by the New York City Tourism and Conventions uh, organization. And you know what? I invited Fred. I invited Carrie. So I'm just wondering, when are they going to come? Well, they're coming. They're coming in the form of Tiffany Townsend.
All right,
Bring,
Tiffany.
bring her up.
All right.
You got it? Now you
Mm-hmm.
watch. Okay. Hey, Tiffany. Good
Hello,
evening.
hello.
All
Tiffany,
right.
it's the most wonderful time of the year, right?
It is. It is. It's the best time of the year, contrary to
Mhm.
what folks say about the holidays.
Yes,
Happy
indeed.
January.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. And I'm calling this, of course, the NYC Restaurant Week Winter Edition, huh?
I love it. I love it. I love more of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know what? You can't have, let's say, Restaurant Week without what? Restaurants. So let's,
Hmm.
as I say, Night Watchman, let's get it popping. What about a veteran who's been on Soul Lounge primetime before, in
Hmm.
the form of Susannah Koteen? Bring her out here,
All right.
Susanna. Good
Hi,
evening.
Welcome back.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm assuming that not one, not two, but three restaurants participating in Restaurant Week.
yes, that's right. Hmm.
Very, very, very nice. Okay, Night Watchman. Now we get
Wait,
to
wait, wait.
the
You have to
yes.
name her restaurants.
Oh,
Come on.
I'm
This
sorry.
is
I'm backing off. Go ahead, Susanna.
Uh, so we have Lido first, which is on the corner of 117th and Frederick Douglass Boulevard, Italian. And
Hmm.
then after that, we opened BiXi, which is Asian fusion cocktail lounge. And then
Hmm.
we have the Fox on 120th. All of them are on Frederick Douglass Boulevard. And the Fox is Global Sports Bar Gastropub. And Curtis, since you mentioned James Beard Award, our executive chef is Serena Bass, and she's James Beard Award.
all
And
right.
Absolutely.
and she designed the way all three of the spaces look. So she's a talented lady.
She's a chef
Yeah.
and a designer. Wow.
She is. She is.
See, Night Watchman. Okay, you're satisfied now.
Absolutely.
See, so now we get to a nice little fun part because remember this is their first time, their first appearance on Soul Lounge Primetime.
Hmm.
Why don't we bring the proprietor of not one but two concepts right here in Harlem? That could only be Matthew Trebek. Bring him out,
Welcome.
Matthew.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Good, good, my brother. So needless to say, and Night Watchman, you of course have gone to the second location where you had some pizza. Is that correct?
I've been to both. Yes.
Oh, you do tell, Night Watchman.
Uh, you tell again. Name their restaurants. They're here for the publicity.
Yeah, Matthew, do tell. Tell me those restaurants you got.
Sure. So we have Oso, which is our Mexican concept, which opened in 2016, and that's on 140th and Amsterdam Avenue. And then in 2018, we opened Lucille's, which is a coffee shop in the morning, and then in the evening, it transitions into more of a pizzeria, Italian, American comfort food, along with a cocktail bar. And we have some live music that takes place there as well.
Nice. Thank you, Matthew. So, Night Watchman, another first timer on Soul Lounge Prime Time. And I know I knew of the first one because I actually brought in, of course, a New Year's Eve there one year where Stormin was performing, and that could only be Juliet, Masters of the Edge.
Welcome.
Juliet.
Good evening. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Now, we know about the Edge, but tell us also a little bit about the Good.
So I have 2 restaurants along with my sister. We have the Edge Harlem, which is in its 10th year this year. We opened in 2014. And that's on 139th and Edgecombe Avenue. We're near to Matthew and his restaurants. And then we just opened another restaurant in East Harlem, sort of in 2020, but really and truly in 2022. It's called The Good, and that's on East 119th and Park Avenue.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Juliet. And Night Watchman, now we have had, of course, her husband, but now she's making her first appearance on Soul Lounge Prime Time. And that, of course, is Beejhy.
Thank you for the
Good
warm
evening.
welcome. Good evening. How are you all?
Great. How are you?
Good. And do tell us, which restaurant do you have there?
We opened Tsion Cafe in 2014. It's an Ethiopian Mediterranean restaurant. We've been feeding the Harlem community for the last 9 years plus.
Excellent. Thank you. One and all. So you know what? Let me go right to the folks there. They're at NYC Tourism and Conventions. And please, Tiffany, kick us off. Tell us about New York City Restaurant Week.
So we are now over 30 years old. So I like to be able to say that we're the first and we're the largest restaurant week in the country. And Restaurant Week is well underway. It runs through mid-February. And this year we have over 600 restaurants participating in every corner of the city across all 5 boroughs. So it's a program that I think is near and dear to many people's hearts, both New Yorkers and people who just love to visit New York and dine across the city. And I firmly believe that, the program has something for everybody. And so we've got lunch and dinner specials. So it's $30, $45, and $60. Again, lunch and dinner, which is obviously up to the individual restaurant, but also we've expanded into weekends as well, which is nice. A nice option to add.
Excellent. So bottom line now, this we say is the winter edition. So you will be doing this again in the warmer months, huh?
We do. We would do Restaurant Week twice a year, and so we typically do that in July. And really, the background is the Restaurant Week is designed to boost business in what is typically slower periods for travel and tourism to the city. And I know many people might think, is there ever really a slow period for travel and tourism to the city? But there is. Typically, it's January and February, and there's a little bit of a lull during the summer. And so that's what these programs are designed to do, is to create an additional incentive to get people out, to get people dining and enjoying the city. And really, the program is a celebration of the city's dining community. I think we all probably would agree that New York is the dining capital of the world. We just have so much amazing food experiences, across the city. And Restaurant Week is one way into enjoying all of that.
Excellent. And Night Watchman, you hear that? Just simply because I live here, I'm a foodie, okay? I'm claiming it. So there you go. So having said that,
so if I see you sneaking into,
I'm giving you your foodie pass. You're deemed a foodie.
Thank you. So Susannah, not 1, not 2, but 3 restaurants all participating. Why are you guys participating? Tell me.
Well, I mean, just to reiterate what Tiffany said, I think that, Curtis, you said you're a foodie because you live here, and I really agree. I think that New York City has amazing independently owned restaurants, and because we're such a melting pot, we have so many different options. food. And, I really appreciate Restaurant Week. It is helpful. These are quieter times. Traditionally it's freezing outside. People don't want to necessarily go out. Everybody's tired from the holidays. And Restaurant is a nice option. And whenever, either people come for Restaurant Week, or sometimes, I'll put down a menu and I'll be like, we have the menu and we have Restaurant Week. And people are always really excited about it because it's a nice option, and it feels like it gives you, accessible price to all different types of restaurants.
Excellent, excellent. And so, bottom line, and one of the things that Tiffany covered, and I'll go through with all of you guys, will you see, let's say, an uptick in, let's say, sales? Let's say, of course, your visibility, but everybody knows. Come on, Lido, BiXi, so far we know that. But will you?
I wish that were true.
well, would you say that during this particular period there may be some new customers coming through?
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely heard people say, "Oh, I tried you first on Restaurant Week, and I've been coming here ever since." And Restaurant Week is a helpful time. Just like I said, I think people get tired right after the holidays and the weather's crappy, but it's a reason to come out, and people appreciate it, and it is helpful. I mean, I don't want to get into politics, but I think that New York City needs to remember, like, our small businesses are, really important. And it's the reason why New York is so special, because, you don't have all these like chain restaurants everywhere. You have independently owned, unique spaces. And it's why you get to be a foodie, Curtis, because, New Yorkers really enjoy all those options, and like all the international, options.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? One of the things I have to say, and I'm going to actually now pivot a bit, because I'm going to go, we certainly do know that Frederick Douglass Boulevard, known as Restaurant Row, literally. And so you definitely have a benefit there, because all three of your restaurants are right there on Frederick Douglass Boulevard. But now I'm going to travel to, go ahead, NightWatchman.
I think they like the term Food and Drink Boulevard.
We like all the terms. Anything that
absolutely.
Thumbs
But
up
now,
for
well, we're going to travel to my neck of the woods here. I'm going to go to West Harlem, where, let's say, it's not necessarily, hasn't gotten that brand yet. So I definitely have to say, with Matthew, man, moving into the community and then deciding to open up. Tell me, what have been some of the challenges, man, that you faced with, let's say, Ozo 2016?
Oh, I think around that time when we started to open up, it was the traditional struggles of getting the gas turned on for the building, going through the community board and dealing with your liquor license.
Yes.
Obviously, after 2020, a lot of your problems just compounded. But, we're pretty resilient, and we try to figure out how to keep moving on. And I think Restaurant Week is a good way that tries to support restaurants.
Excellent. And I have to say now, you also then decided Lucille's in the middle of what the world was going through. So tell me about that journey too, in terms of deciding to open up Lucille's.
Sure. So Lucille's opened a couple years after Oso in 2018. And that was more where Oso's more of a traditional restaurant. I would say Lucille's is more of a place where, like a coffee shop in the day, a lot of people come do work, and then in the evening it kind of transitions. We use it as an event space. We use it as just regular dining. So it kind of does a lot more of a space in the community rather than your traditional restaurant.
Gotcha. Well, another one, let's say, Juliet, I'm also, like to say, in my neck of the woods, in my neighborhood, right, on a less traveled place, and that, of course, is Edgecombe Avenue. So tell me your challenges there.
Well, I mean, it's restaurants there are a lot of buildings in New York and a lot of people in those buildings, and they all are hungry at some point in the day or night. And the Edge is located in a very residential neighborhood.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it was just a matter of all these people who live in this neighborhood. There's nowhere nearby for them to just go and get something to eat. And so we provide a place for them to come and eat, somewhat of an extension of their living room. We serve a fusion of British, Jamaican, and New York food. I don't know if New York is somewhat international, so you have a little bit of something for everybody at the Edge. And we definitely are a restaurant for our community, but we've expanded beyond that. We are a tourist destination as we're in Upper West Harlem, as we would call it.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes we're not on Frederick Douglass, but we're above 135th. So there is a scene of restaurants that's growing up here. And so, yeah, tourists who are visiting like the Abyssinian Church, they come to us after church, but also the architecture up here is really, really beautiful. Convent Avenue, so we're near City College. So we are a destination for tourists and people who are, curious about Harlem, may come up here for restaurant week to, try some of our food, either the prefix lunch or the prefix dinner. And then the Good, which is their newer restaurant in East Harlem, that's also sort of like a destination place. It's not, it's not on a traffic boulevard. So we're really testing the idea of people coming out off of main avenues and going to corner places and, trying the food there.
Excellent. And would you say, let's say, Juliet, that you do have, let's say, a lot of neighborhood folk that also frequent, let's say, the Edge?
Oh, it's 80% neighborhood.
Oh, nice, nice. Love
Absolutely.
that. Beautiful, beautiful. And BJ, one of the, of course, not so less traveled, but very, very different configuration in terms of the properties there. Tell me about the how Tsion Cafe has been doing there on St. Nicholas Boulevard, or St.
Sure.
Nicholas Avenue. I'm sorry. Mhm.
Just to give a brief info about Tsion, yeah, we are an Ethiopian Mediterranean emphasizing on a healthy vegan food. We actually transitioned to that this year. Originally, the reason we opened Tsion Cafe because I live in the neighborhood and I wanted
Mhm.
to invest and bring something wholesome rather than fast food that you see all over the neighborhood. Yeah, St. Nicholas, historically used to be very busy with a lot of jazz clubs such as St. Nick's
Mhm.
Pubs and uh, many more that I don't recall. But historically, where we are right now, Tsion Cafe used to be the Jimmy's Chicken Shack back in the 1940s throughout the Harlem Renaissance. It
Yes.
was a big destination where people would come at 1 o'clock in the morning a.m. to listen to jazz while listening to Billie Holiday or Charlie Parker listening to Art Tatum. This is the venue itself. In order to continue that legacy, we actually honor that by doing live music and having cocktails here. Uh, uh,
Mm.
Honoring Red Fox, Malcolm X, Charlie Parker, and so on. Yeah, it is out of the way, but it's in the line of the A train line, and it is a destination. We are Ethiopian, Black, Jewish eatery, and a lot of people come because of that multicultural heritage that we have to offer. We have Ethiopian, Mediterranean, Israeli, New York, so a little bit of everything to appeal to different taste buds and so forth. So that is Sion Cafe. And we grace our walls with beautiful local artists as well. So it's not only healthy food and good food, we provide live music, beautiful artwork, open mic to nourish the soul as well.
Very, very nice. Yes, yes, indeed. And you know what, Tiffany, I understand it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but the number three destination for all international tourism is New York. Oh, I'm sorry, Harlem, Upper Manhattan. Is that
Oh,
correct?
it's you might be correct. I can't say that for sure, but this is the stat that sounds right because sometimes it's a little bit difficult to. There are a lot of different ways of measuring these things, but I think anecdotally, We know that's a popular destination. We can tell by what people are searching on our website. We can tell by the type of engagement that we have on social media, and then also through other programs that we have that have Harlem businesses that are featured, and the kind of traction and activity that they're getting from the work that we're doing with them. So I think you're probably right on that.
Absolutely, and I do remember there was in my other hat that I wear, there was a woman who was embedded there, who was I guess statisticians, who was keeping track of all of the patterns that she was able to observe, and so she provided me with that, and I know that at one point, let's say Lower Manhattan was number one. I guess after 9/11, people going there to see it, but now. Midtown is number one because you can go to a Broadway play and a meal or whatever, and then Lower Manhattan, and then Harlem. But at one point, I remember your numbers now maybe about 60 something billion a year. Is that correct?
We're at about, in terms of overall visitation, we had about 62 million tourists visit the city last year, and that's across all 5 boroughs. We're not quite back at our pre-pandemic levels. Our record year was 2019. And we saw about almost 67 million visitors come to New York City. So we're almost there. But to give you context, those visitors, their economic impact is $74 billion felt across the 5 boroughs. So that's about, I think it's about $48 billion in direct spending. So you think about what that looks like for all of these businesses, especially small businesses, and the jobs that it's creating across the city, which is important because travel and hospitality in the travel and leisure sector, that's almost 10% of the city's jobs. So, everything that we can do to bring travelers here to get out, to enjoy the city, to dine in restaurants, to patronize small businesses is really important. It really is critical to the city's overall economic health.
Excellent. And I guess I'll do this for every one of you. You guys are essential, no doubt about it, especially during the lockdown and the pandemic. So, Susannah, of course, you guys deliver any and everywhere. Is that correct?
We do. I mean, Uber. I mean, during the pandemic, of course, was really tough for everybody. We opened and closed a little bit because, while we did do some delivery, it wasn't enough to sustain us. But now that we're back open, God bless Uber. So they deliver everywhere for us.
Excellent. And as a matter of fact, any of you guys always use a third party, or do you actually have delivery embedded within your operation? Anybody here, or you use outside like Uber Eats or others? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Gotcha. Nice. And would you say, Matthew, knowing knowing that Ozo on Amsterdam, your demographic is certainly different than what we have there on Lucille's up there on McCombs. So have you noticed, do you have the same type of clientele, slightly different catering to the local neighborhood, or different? Tell me.
I think both really cater to their direct neighborhood, but they're only about a 10-minute walk one another. So we definitely try to push people to go check out Lucille's if they're dining at Oso, and vice versa. And I think that people realize just how close they are, and it's a nice walk on your way down. If you're going from Oso to Lucille's, you will also probably pass the Edge or Tsion. It's good. It's the Harlem neighborhood is not. It is big and widespread, but it can also be very intimate, depending on how you look at it.
Gotcha. I do like this. I see some collaboration. Some there's love in the air. There's enough out there for everybody. Yeah, Juliet.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's like these are, as Susannah said, we're independently owned and operated businesses, and we have to help each other out and support each other. I mean, and we all serve different food, so people there's 7 days in a week, and you can eat something from everywhere.
Excellent. And certainly, let's say, NightWatchman, this is going to stop you from going to the chains along 125th Street, or what?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Again, I think you're trying to gaslight and deflect your McDonald's and Burger King fix.
Wow. Wow.
I believe someone said that there's room for everybody.
I can say with a certainty that I have dined at all their restaurants and I enjoy them all immensely. And I also have a profound respect for what they're doing, because we haven't talked about the tough part of it, is that with all the 62 million people coming in and the $74 billion that's coming in, it is still a very tough business to succeed in. And these entrepreneurs also survived the pandemic, which was not what tough. And we're still seeing a lot of some of our restaurants that we do enjoy that have been closing. So we know that it's not easy. And I'd love to hear from each of you, just what has sustained you. What how did you guys get through the toughness? You're not only sustaining, but most of you have multiple locations. So what's the secret?
Yes. You know what, BJ? We'll start off with you, especially being that I remember that you also had a film festival that you were conducting while also being a restaurateur. So I need to know your balance. How you been doing this? And also, I understand that there could be an opportunity at JFK. So please do tell.
So yeah, while I am all about celebrating the arts, we're talking about in different forms. So previously, before Tsion, I was doing a lot of film festival, showcasing film and panel discussion, increasing awareness on the Jewish diversity and beyond. Yeah, I met you throughout the Sheba Film Festival, which unfortunately is not happening as much because I put all my attention to Tsion Cafe. But Tsion Cafe is a continuation of it. As I said, it's a food, creating nutritious food is a form of art that we want to nourish our beloved Harlem community and beyond. I would say throughout the pandemic, it was you had to be very creative. So we focus on to-go food. We basically package everything. We had a contract with the city and different hospitals and university. So we were able to sustain ourselves by having creating meals for essential workers and so forth. So we basically have the whole restaurant packed with to-go food. They will come, grab it, and go. And I would say one of the challenges throughout pandemic, and we saw decrease, is the ability to find dedicated workers, employees.
Gotcha.
Since then, I would say it's been very tough. People don't want to be in the industry. And if you have a good worker employee, you have to hold on tight to them and give them increased salary, of course. We have to pay livable wages, something that we did. And I think it brought down our bottom line, but it was worth it. It's investment. Because, we all have to live, especially throughout the pandemic. People had to risk their life working in the restaurant industry. So it should have been worthwhile for them to work there. So we had to increase their salary. But still, until now, I would say overall finding loyal, I would say committed workers, it's been rough. But nonetheless, we are determined to be here, feed the Harlem community, and and as I said, yeah, there are different opportunities. That's why, at this point, Tsion Cafe is pivoting more the vegan, sustainable way of cooking and nourishing the community. So we are fully vegan and kosher certified, and that is to basically showcase and celebrate our unique multicultural heritage here in Harlem.
Excellent. So definitely, one of the things, and you of course heard that, Tiffany, pivoting. I was talking to my guy Andrew Ridgey of the New York Hospitality Alliance, and he basically said that yes, the universal thing that they've heard from a number of the restaurateurs has been, of course, getting staff that do want to work, loyal staff. And what have you heard on your end?
I mean, we've heard a lot of the, the same concerns and same issues from restaurateurs, but also just small business owners in general. That it's been a really tough 4 years, and I think many businesses would say that they're not exactly where they would, we're exactly where they'd like to be. But if you stay nimble. And pivoting is key. That's been what's core to them still being here and still being with us. I think the city and the state and the federal government obviously provided a lot of resources, but we know that isn't that's one part of the puzzle. And so it's been an all hands sort of effort in that sense of finding different resources where possible, but being flexible and being nimble to respond to a very, very difficult environment over the last couple of years.
Yes, indeed. And you know what, Susannah? Because remember, we talk about balancing and wearing multiple hats. Another hat that you wear, of course, is co-president of the Frederick Douglass Boulevard Alliance. So you have to tell me about the advocacy that you guys do with that and the merchants along Frederick Douglass Boulevard.
Yeah, sure. So Frederick Douglass Boulevard Alliance, I mean, as we sort of touched upon, along Frederick Douglass Boulevard, one of the really wonderful things is we have all independently owned small businesses, and they're all owned by people that live in the community. So, my husband and I live here as well. And Rose Pierre Louis, back in 2012, started Frederick Douglass Boulevard Alliance, and I've been the co-president ever since. It's for both residents and businesses, but again, the small businesses are so important to the community. We have all these different types of businesses along Frederick Douglass Boulevard that cater to all different cuisines and people. And so Frederick Douglass Boulevard Alliance is both quality of life and helps to cross promote all those small businesses. So we're cleanliness and safety, and but we had Food and Drink Boulevard. We do open streets, so when the streets are closed down on Saturdays and Sundays to traffic, and we have movie nights and a circus and activities for kids, and people can just walk or bike or whatever. So that's all part of it. It's one of the great things about, again, living in New York. You have all these independent businesses, and I think that's one of the reasons why people want to come and visit us, because we have so many interesting options.
Yeah, I guess one of the things that certainly since the lockdown of the pandemic, and I'll get to it a little bit later, NightWatchman, but in terms of commercial real estate, commercial rents, I think if they haven't already, have taken, let's say, another look and maybe come down a little bit. But you guys, you'll let me know. I see some of you guys shaking your head no, but I get it. Matthew, tell me about your experience and your pivots.
Pivots during, I guess a lot of pivots, kind of started around the pandemic when we needed to look at restaurants a little differently. One of our major pivots that helped keep us alive was that we partnered with a lot of different organizations that focused on food insecurity and getting food out to people that weren't able to go grocery shopping, whether it be to the elderly and whatnot. So a lot of really good organizations helped carry us through in the lack of service. Obviously, a lot of to-go food helped as well, but not as much as these programs did. I think as far as the environment and retail spaces, it doesn't feel to me that so many vacant retail spaces are becoming more affordable and are encouraging new businesses to come in. It feels like a lot of landlords are still trying to push for a higher rent and just wait it out.
Gotcha.
So
yes. Yes, and you know what? Definitely, I would kind of agree with you on that, Matthew, because I do know one of our neighbors there on 141st in Amsterdam, and of course, being the Grange. It's still that space is vacant, and we also have, let's say, a Grill on the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little bit concerned that potentially Amsterdam becoming a ghost town on some level. What do you think?
I think at this moment, it definitely feels that way. I don't think it'll stay that way for a while, but definitely, when you go a couple years with these spaces around you being vacant, you start to question what's happening in the neighborhood because you've seen it once so vibrant and with so many people between one space to the next, and now it's just a little bit different out there.
And would you say you get some pretty good traffic from CCNY being across the street?
I think I think also really caters a little bit more towards the faculty of CCNY.
Yep.
Around our lunch hour. I don't think we bring in the students as much, but I think that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And then remember, Juliet, you're down the hill from CCNY. What about you? You see some traffic there, and also tell me about your let's say your pivoting that you've had to do and adapting.
My favorite word, pivot. I'm actually over that word. I'd like to stop pivoting and just,
be still for a little bit.
I mean, we've just been in survival mode since 2020, and it's really not why I came into this business. Really, I probably am speaking from the hearts of other restaurateurs. It's like, we're here in our community to feed people, and there is something very special about that. And it's very special about that if it's your own business and your food that you're serving from whatever part of your culture or your heart that you love. So to be in survival mode for so long is very, very difficult. I don't really have anything positive to say about the restaurant business right now. I'm grateful for something like New York City Restaurant Week, but the honest truth is it's ridiculously hard to have this business and to enjoy it if you're constantly trying to figure out how to keep an employee or to get restaurant to be full other days than Saturdays and Sundays. It's very, very difficult, and to stay open for the community, because you don't want us to close, you want us to be open, but if how long can we sustain that? So I'm just giving you the honest speak.
No,
because,
I love it. Love it. You're right.
That's the reality right now. We are still in survival mode, and this is year 4. As Tiffany said right in the beginning, 2019 was the record year for tourists visiting New York City. Well, we felt that up here in Harlem. We definitely felt that. They were coming to Harlem. We were all doing very well. And then, the roller coaster went like this.
Totally.
So.
Gotcha. Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with the Good, and because in the midst of all this, you still opened up this other location, and how did you choose it, and what are the differences, and how do you feel about that area?
So the Good was, we signed that lease March 10th, 2020 The pandemic was declared March 15th, 2020. So
incredible.
That was really bad timing. It was actually never meant to be a restaurant. It was going to be a delivery and event space and catering space, because was where we wanted to move into next. And then, yes, we did what we could in the first couple of years, and that didn't work, which was basically delivery only. And then we joined forces with our business partner, Leslie Bernard, who has opened many restaurants in New York. And now we are here with the Good. We opened almost a year ago in March of 2023. And, that's also try and open a new restaurant and lift a new concept in a neighborhood that is, not yet, has a restaurant scene. That's a heavy lift, but we're doing it, and people are, know that we're there now, and people in the community have started to hear about us and visit us. But yeah, the good is also a, labor of love. But it's,
Uh,
it's growing, so I'm grateful for that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, BJ, you already heard Juliet say she's done with that word pivot. She's done with it. So, what are your thoughts about pivot and adapting?
Well, I love the word pivot. You always have to be resourceful and find way. As I said, it wasn't, overall, my experience throughout COVID, and it seems like a lot of people were cooking at home, right? The increase on cooking and shopping, and which was the impact on it right now is less people coming to the restaurants, and they rather make their own food. So one thing I was doing online is teaching people how to cook vegan, healthy food. And that's why I completely decided to pivot, to kind of reinvent ourselves to the kosher vegan, because it seems like the awareness on healthy eating, plant-based is definitely out there. And we wanted to be cordial, of the environment. So that's my big pivot, and uh, introducing new way of eating, sustainability, plant-based. We always have to be, looking for something new that will be benefiting you financially, because I find buying meat, chicken, and all of that stuff, everything is very expensive. So when you go to the direction of vegan and all of that stuff, vegetable, organic, if possible, or locally sourced, that will decrease the bottom line in a way. So that's my big pivot for 2024.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. Nice. Nice.
I,
So
I've
I
got a
guess
question.
go ahead.
I got a
Go ahead.
question for
Go ahead, Night
everybody
Watchman.
on the panel, except Tiffany, because Tiffany's here for everybody. I So if you guys had a cousin who was coming into town who'd never been here before and coming to one or all of your restaurants, I'd like you to tell us what is the dish that you would recommend to them when they come to your place that you love, that you feel represents your cuisine, and you know that they would love. So
All right. Susannah, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll answer that question, but I also want to, Juliet said, because I love running our restaurants, like the whole pivot thing. It's like, no, I want to do what I opened up to do. And Curtis, at some point, I would love for you to do a show about how, again, like I don't want to get into politics, but how I would see New York City in general, like their support small businesses more.
Okay.
Because the city does make it. But to answer the question, at BiXi, I love the spicy noodles because I love spice, and that's a fusion place. And our cocktails are amazing. So we have some great cocktails. Old fashioned with passion fruit that I love. And then at Lido, I mean, we're proud of all our food. I'm a big eggplant parmesan person, so we have an amazing eggplant parmesan.
I love that. I love that.
But people love our salmon. I mean, we're proud of our food. And at Fox, I mean, we're a sports bar. The chicken wings are amazing. But we also have great Caesar salad. So those would be. But, and this will be the last thing I say. One of the things besides food that we're really proud of is that we're along Frederick Douglass Boulevard, and we have a really strong following in the community. So I always tell people, like, if you want to come to Harlem and you want to really experience the neighborhood, if you go to our restaurants, we have a ton of regulars, and we don't have a lot of staff turnover. So people know each other. It's a very friendly environment, and if you sit at the bar by yourself by the end of the evening, you'll have had a really great conversation with somebody sitting next to you or the bartender.
Gotcha. Thank you. Matthew, your top dish that you'd recommend in both your places?
I think if you come to Oso, our chef makes a mole dish that is very special and traditional from Oaxaca. Mole is a dish that can have up to 30 different ingredients in it, so it's very labor intensive, but it is very delicious. So I would definitely recommend trying the mole. You can either have it with tamales or with enchiladas. So I would say if you're going to Oso, try the mole. If you're going to Lucille's, I think pizza is the way to go.
Excellent. Juliet, what you got going on?
So anything coconut fish at the Edge. We do coconut fish and chips.
Yes.
We do coconut fish tacos. We do a coconut fish burger. Let me see what else. We do a coconut fish with grits. So I would tell your cousin to order the coconut fish and grits at the Edge. And when they go to the Good, they should definitely have the Brussels sprouts. They should definitely have one of our excellent cocktails. And they should definitely try the yams and the branzino fillet.
Oh boy. And of course, we're talking about Brussels sprouts being caramelized.
Well, yeah, they're a lot of things, but they're excellent. They were dates and a little bit of bacon. If you don't eat bacon, you can make them vegan with just the dates. So they're very good.
No, bring them on. All. Okay. So, of course, BJ, what you got going on?
For me, for Tsion Cafe, it will be the Ethiopian veggie combo. It's traditional Ethiopian stews such as red lentil, collard green, cabbage, ground chickpeas, yellow split pea, coming on the bed of a traditional bread called injera. We make fresh every day, which is gluten-free as well. That is a nice wholesome, nutritious meal. And on top of it, to wash it down, you either can do a traditional Ethiopian honey wine or our delicious cocktail called Red Fox, or the X, all made from delicious mix that we make here in house.
You know what, NightWatchman, I'm starting to salivate a bit, buddy. You know this, right?
I know. We all are.
Yes, indeed. But you know what, Tiffany, you got to ask me. So certainly during the lockdown, COVID, we had the erection of sheds outside. And I definitely have to say that, of course, Susannah had jumped the line because she has a master carpenter embedded who she's married to. So she made out fine. But you have to tell me exactly what is your position, New York hospitality, I'm sorry, New York City tourism and conventions, your position on the outdoor sheds.
I mean, I think from our perspective, if it works for the communities and works for the restaurants, and then it works for us. You know, we're here for our members and want to support what they're doing, and they also know what works best for their businesses, and the communities also know what works best for them. So that's typical. You know, that's where we come down on that.
Excellent. Okay. And Susannah, yes, like I said, Mark has done all three spots outside. I mean, you know, you are so lucky. Yes, indeed. And, but they have assisted your business to at least stay afloat, you'd say, or what?
Oh, absolutely. They're really important. And, you know, I another sore point, the city allowed us to open them. And then like a month after they were open, with lots of, you know, time and expense and stress because we were going through such a difficult time, they changed all the rules. And I would have people come into my business and say, you've got to take it. You have to fix this, or it has to come down tomorrow. You know, again, your next show, let me gripe about how the city's difficult. But, you know, I hear people say, you know, they're not used or they're falling down. And then you see others that are beautiful and have so much fun. And, you know, at a time when we were really struggling, and, you know, it's still a really difficult time, to put to the material and the furniture. And, you know, a lot of them really took a lot of effort to get there. And, you know, I don't think it's a one size fits all. And I don't think that people can say, oh, they're all an eyesore. Some of them are, sure, but some of them
Mm-hmm.
are used and really well taken care of. So I don't think we can make blanket statements. And yes, they're super helpful. And, we're trying to keep our doors open.
Excellent. Matthew, same question in terms of, let's say, outdoor dining, sheds, and so forth.
I think if they support the restaurant, then I think that they're important. Both of our spaces are actually in front of bus stops, so we were never able to put anything there.
Wow.
We're fine. But I agree. I think as long as they're maintained, I think they can be a benefit to people in the neighborhood and in New York. And if they're not, then I think that they do cause more of a problem.
Juliet.
Agreed. I mean, thank goodness for the outdoor sheds. Thank goodness.
Gotcha. And lastly, BJ.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely a great way to increase visibility, and it was a good addition, of course, with the downfalls and maintaining it and people utilizing for different things. But other than that, I think it was good way to create kind of environment of a village when you see people sitting outside and encouraging others to come and join. It was lovely, but we had to get rid of that, and we decided to invest more in our backyard, where we have outdoor seating as well, which is we can take care of and maintain.
Oh, excellent. So you know what, Tiffany? Like I said, I want you to convey to Fred as well as Kellyanne that you came on, and I'm going to tell them that you are a shining star, no doubt about it.
Always appreciate it. It's great to be with you guys.
Oh, thank you. So do tell, because Night Watchman, I'm assuming that we're gonna do our little lightning thing here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Kellyanne, what New York City tourism and conventions? What you guys got going on for the year?
Well, we're in addition to Restaurant Week, we're in the middle of our winter outing program. So right now, you still have 2-for-1 tickets on Broadway shows, 23 of 26 Broadway shows. You have 2-for-1 tickets for Must See Week, which is across cultural organizations, attractions, and tours as well. And it's also Hotel Week, so it's 24% off standard room rates for hotels. That's over 160 hotels participating in Hotel Week, over 60 different locations participating in Must See Week, and then 23 of 26 Broadway shows. So I always tell everybody, if you're looking for a good deal, January and February is the best time to visit New York, and honestly, just to get out in the city.
Oh, love it. And if someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
NYCtourism.com is the best place to start. It's going to tell you everything that you need to know about visiting the city and about enjoying any of the programs that we're offering.
Beautiful. All right. So do tell me there, Susannah.
Yes.
What you got going on?
We're continuing to do our best to, we've got live music at BiXi every Thursday. We've got our 3 restaurants, the Fox, obviously, brunch, or come out for a great drink anytime, but, for any of the big games. Like I said, we're a global sports bar, so soccer, cricket, as well as football, your basketball, obviously the Super Bowl is coming up. And we're here. We're doing our best every day.
Excellent. Thank you. Matthew, what do you got going on?
Oh, I think we're gonna just trying to keep everything going. I think, looking ahead, I think we would like to have a little bit more music come spring, a little bit more live music at Lucille's. I'm really looking forward for. I hope our scaffolding is going to come down in front of Oso.
Yes.
That'll be nice. Those are the little things that we're looking forward to.
Excellent. Thank you. Juliet, what do you got going on at the 2 venues?
Well, we have live music every Wednesday at the Edge, so that's always an excellent time. Definitely a great local community, thing to do is go and listen to live music at one of the independently owned restaurants in Harlem. You'll always be in for a treat. We just make it through these cold months, these quiet cold months, and into spring, and hope that everyone comes running out to eat in the restaurants.
Ooh, love it, love it. So, of course, BJ, what you got going on?
Well, as I said, come and explore delicious array of Ethiopian vegan food to nourish your body and soul. We're here. And check our website for live music and entertainment. And I hope to see you all.
Ah, love it, love it. So, Night Watchman, you heard that. No chains, okay? So stay away from 125th Street. No chains. You got me?
You know, that wasn't funny the first time you told it. I don't know. Did you think it's going to age better?
I thought so, you know. I tried. I throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks, you know.
This is an opportunity to talk about going to these locations, not talking about those chains. So let's keep on purpose and on topic, because as we've said, these are our heroes. Okay.
Yes.
If you're a foodie, then these are your heroes. These are your these are the Avengers. Okay. They were out there saving New York.
So Night Watchman, then you know what? Do me a favor.
Come on.
Indeed, I hear you. So take us home, will you?
All right. So you've been listening to Soul Lounge Prime Time on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem, and live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, as well as on all your favorite podcast platforms. You can always find us on Monday nights at 7 p.m. on the radio, and 8 o'clock we're live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. And so next week we've got something so fantastic we can't even tell you what it is. But you got to come back and check us out. And meanwhile, make sure in between Monday and Sunday you go and patronize one or more of these fine establishments. And they're all over Harlem. So there's one in your neighborhood, but you can take a stroll.
There's no excuse.
Take a stroll.
Yes.
And go up to Tsion Cafe, go to Lucille's, go to Aso, go to The Edge, go to the Good. Go to who did I leave out?
Lido, BiXi, and the Fox.
Just throw a rock in one direction, you're gonna hit one of Susannah's restaurants. But make sure you go in. Don't throw the rock through the window. Okay, we don't want you to do that. We just want you to make sure you go in and order something, or order online. Uber, DoorDash, they all show up and bring these foods home. So if you're hibernating, you don't have to give up on your culinary treats, because these folks will bring it to your door. Yes. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Thank you, Night Watchman.
These are my heroes. Come on.
Heroes, give it up.
Give it
yes.
up. Give it up.
Yes. Y'all have been fantastic. And you know what, Night Watchman, because they've been so fantastic, we will invite them back to the barbecue, okay?
Absolutely. There's going to be another restaurant week later on this year. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Take care, y'all. Great.
All right.
Great show.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.